this. Let's see if I remember to shut it off today. Ooh, good morning. Good morning, whoever's popped in. Crookshanks is ready. He is in full napping position. Excuse my hair. I haven't washed it in a while. I had to go do my run this morning before it started raining to get it over with, and I didn't have time to wash my hair in the shower on the way back, or when I came back. How are you, Kelly? Which is also probably why I'm a little low energy, but it was a good run. Like, I hadn't run in a week because of my vacation. And when you take a week off and then actually ran longer than I ran before I left, and it was great. I feel really good. But also, I think I'm getting a head cold too, so that's fun. Not really. And I can't get warm. It's only going to be like 65 degrees today. Of course, next week I'll be complaining about. Good morning, Andrew. I'll be complaining about how hot it is, right? Do I complain too much? Do I complain a lot? I feel like I haven't. Maybe it's I didn't complain enough as a child, and so I have to make up for it as an adult. I'm ready to read. I'm ready to get through this book. Let's see how far we can read today. Or guess how far. That's not too... Oh, I think... Oh, this... not this coming chapter, but the next chapter is one of my favorites. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's try and read two. Yay! We're just figuring out what we're gonna read. Oh, yesterday, guys, I remembered to record myself, but then I ended up recording 3 hours of dead air or Friday barking or oh shoot, I forgot to put my my cellular on again. Cross your fingers there's no big trucks. Of course, yesterday we lucked out because it was Memorial Day. Anyway, I need to get real good at editing audio if I'm going to make anything of my recordings. All right, are you ready? I know I usually wait like 5 minutes, but I'm raring to go. I'm ready. I'm ready to see what happens. Vanity, I guess here's the plan. The plan is, guys, if I get knocked out, I will I will go turn my cellular on and then restart, okay? I won't just go away. Oh, I guess I can wait. I guess we are 5 minutes, but I started binge watching, and maybe that's also why I'm tired. Binge watching. I feel like when last year I was talking about this series too. It's a sleeper hit. In my opinion, it's like a sleeper. It's a sleeper hit on Netflix called Ragnarok, and it's about these. It's like teenagers in this Norwegian high school that are actually like the embodiment of gods and giants of old Norse mythology. Hello, Kimberly. Good. Kimberly's in here. We haven't started yet because I'm rambling about TV. But I really liked it. Blue Miracle. What's that about? Is it a documentary? Sounds like a documentary about Earth or something. Anyway, so I'm like, I only have a couple episodes left of the second season already, and it just like I binged it. They're a good length though. They're only like half an hour. A true story of okay, I'll check it out. Ragnarok. It's super violent. But not as like bloody and gory as some. It's more like fist fights and stuff, which I much prefer that than like, I don't know, just like really, I can't handle the gory stuff. I really can't. Anyway, also the soundtrack, I love it. Kids Fishing in Mexico, which I told myself last night, and then I fell asleep. I was like, I need to go see if someone has created the soundtrack, like playlist of because all the songs are bangers. They're good. All right. Chapter 27, Vanity and Vexation of Spirit. Marilla, walking home one late April evening from an aid meeting, realized that the winter was over and gone with the thrill of delight that spring never fails to bring to the oldest and saddest, as well as to the youngest and merriest. When I was in Florida, I was like, the first day I was like, oh my God, imagine living where it was warm all year and you could just be warm all year. And then I was talking to my niece Sophie about it, and she was like, no, I really like having the seasons. And the more I think about it, same. Because you don't have the thrill of spring, right? It really was. It was humid. I mean, if I could just do, like last winter wasn't bad. Yes, we had that like weird polar vortex thing where like my freaking pipes froze and stuff. You have the thrill of winter. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there was like those 2 weeks when it was like, whoa, what's that planet Hoth or whatever on Star Wars where I'm gonna have to slaughter some large animal and crawl inside its carcass to survive. But the rest of it was just I don't know, like 40s and 50s a lot of days. I can handle it. I can handle it when it's like that. I don't think I got too depressed. Anyway, Marilla was not given, and then and then I feel like every spring there's like this delayed reaction, like you're not, yeah, it's warm all of a sudden, but like you're not mentally adjusted to it, so it's like this delay, and then you have all the rainy days anyway. Spring can be iffy. Same with fall. All right. Marilla was not given to subjective analysis of her thoughts and feelings. She probably imagined she was thinking about the aides and their missionary box and the new carpet for the vestry room, but under these reflections was a harmonious consciousness of red fields smoking into pale purply mists and the declining sun of long, sharp-pointed fir shadows falling over the meadow beyond the brook of still crimson-budded maples around a mirror-like wood pool of awakening in the world and a stir of hidden pulses under the gray sod. Oh my God, these sentences! Oh my goodness. That was a paragraph-long sentence. I love it. The spring was abroad in land, and Marilla's sober middle-aged step was lighter and swifter because of its deep primal gladness. Her eyes dwelt affectionately on Green Gables, peering through its network of trees and reflecting the sunlight back from its windows in several little coruscations of glory. Marilla, as she picked her steps along the damp lane, thought that it was really a satisfaction to know that she was going home to a briskly snapping wood fire and a table nicely spread for tea, instead of to the cold comfort of old aid meeting evenings before Anne had come to Green Gables. Consequently, when Marilla entered her kitchen and found the fire black out with no sign of Anne anywhere, she felt justly disappointed and irritated. She had told Anne to be sure to have tea ready at 5 o'clock, but now she must hurry to take off her second-best dress and prepare the meal herself against Matthew's return from plowing. "I'll settle Miss Anne when she comes home," said Marilla grimly as she shaved up kindlings with a carving knife and more vim than was strictly necessary. Matthew had come in and was waiting patiently for his tea in his corner. "She's gadding off somewhere with Diana, writing stories or practicing dialogues or some such tomfoolery, and never thinking once about the time or her duties. She's got to be pulled up short and sudden on this sort of thing. I don't care if Mrs. Allan does say she's the brightest and sweetest child she ever knew. She may be bright and sweet enough, but her head is full of nonsense, and there's never any knowing what shape it'll break out in next. Just as soon as she grows out of one freak, she takes up one freak. She takes up another, but here I'm saying the very thing I was so riled with Rachel Lynde for saying at the aid today. I was real glad when Mrs. Allan spoke up for Anne, for if she hadn't, I know I'd have said something too sharp to Rachel before everybody. Anne's got plenty of faults, goodness knows, and far be it from me to deny it." Do you guys hear that? That is something that sorry, I'm just in preparation grab a handkerchief here. Far be it from me to say. I hear that a lot, which is so passive aggressive and annoying. But I'm bringing her up and not Rachel Lynde, who'd pick faults in the angel Gabriel himself if he lived in Avonlea. Just the same, Anne has no business to leave the house like this when I told her she was to stay home this afternoon and look after things. I must say, with all her faults, I never found her disobedient or untrustworthy before, and I'm real sorry to find her so now. "Well, now, I don't know," said Matthew, who, being patient and wise, and above all, hungry, had deemed it best to let Marilla talk her wrath out unhindered, having learned by experience that she got through with whatever work was on hand much quicker, if not delayed by untimely argument. "Perhaps you're judging her too hasty, Marilla. Don't call her untrustworthy until you're sure she's disobeyed you. Maybe it can all be explained. Anne's a great hand at explaining." "She's not here when I told her to stay," retorted Marilla. "I reckon she'll find it hard to explain that to my satisfaction. Of course I knew you'd take her part, Matthew. But I'm bringing her up, not you." It was dark when supper was ready, and still no sign of Anne coming hurriedly over the log bridge or up Lover's Lane, breathless and repentant with a sense of neglected duties. Marilla washed and put away the dishes grimly. Then, wanting a candle to light her down cellar, she went up the east gable for the one that generally stood on Anne's table. Lighting it, she turned round to see Anne herself lying in the bed face downward among the pillow. "Mercy on us!" said astonished Marilla. "Have you been asleep, Anne?" "No," was the muffled reply. "Are you sick, then?" demanded Marilla anxiously, going over to the bed. Anne cowered deeper into her pillows as if desirous of hiding herself forever from mortal eyes. What happened? "No, but please, Marilla, go away and don't look at me. I'm in the depths of despair, and I don't care who gets head in class or writes the best composition or sings the Sunday school choir anymore. Little things like that are of no importance now, because I don't suppose I'll ever be able to go anywhere again. My career is closed. Please, Marilla, go away and don't look at me." Did anyone hear the like the mystified Marilla wanted to know. Anne Shirley, whatever's the matter with you? What have you done? Get right up this minute and tell me. This minute, I say. There now, what is it? Anne had slid to the floor in despairing obedience. Look at my hair, Marilla. Oh, my God, I forgot about this. Accordingly, Marilla lifted her candle and looked scrutinizingly at Anne's hair flowing in heavy masses down her back. It certainly had a very strange appearance. Anne Shirley, what have you done to your hair? Why, it's green! Green, it might be called, if it were an earthly color, a queer, dull, bronzy green, with streaks here and there of the original red to heighten the ghastly effect. Never in all her life had Marilla seen anything so grotesque as Anne's hair at that moment. Harsh. Yes, it's green, moaned Anne. I thought nothing could be as bad as red hair, but now I know it's 10 times worse to have green hair. Oh, Marilla, you little know how utterly wretched I am. I little know how you got into this fix, but I mean to find out, said Marilla. Come right down to the kitchen. It's too cold up here, and tell me just what you've done. I've been expecting something queer for some time. You haven't got into any scrape for over 2 months, and I was sure another one was due. Now then, what did you do to your hair? I dyed it. Dyed it? Dyed your hair? Anne Shirley, didn't you know it was a wicked thing to do? Yes, I knew it was a little wicked, admitted Anne, but I thought it was worthwhile to be a little wicked to get rid of red hair. I counted the cost, Marilla. Besides, I meant to be extra good in other ways to make up for it. Well, said Marilla sarcastically, I know, right? I think this is more like, I don't know, some kind of like poop colored green. Well, said Marilla sarcastically, if I'd decided it was worthwhile to dye my hair, I'd have dyed it a decent color at least. I wouldn't have dyed it green. But I didn't mean to dye it green, Marilla, protested Anne dejectedly. If I was wicked, I meant to be wicked to some purpose. He said it would turn my hair a beautiful raven black. He positively assured me that it would. How could I doubt his word, Marilla? It's so funny because, like, even if she had succeeded and it was raven black, like, it would have turned raven black overnight and everyone would have known she dyed her hair, right? I know what it feels. How could I doubt his word, Marilla? I know what it feels like to have your word doubted. And Mrs. Allen says we should never suspect anyone of not telling us the truth unless we have proof that they're not. I have proof now. Green hair is proof enough for anybody, but I hadn't then, and I believed every word he said implicitly. Who said? Who are you talking about? The peddler that was here this afternoon. I bought the dye from him. Anne Shirley, how often have I told you never to let one of those Italians in the house? I don't believe in encouraging them to come around at all. Or if you're from around here, it'd be Italians. Oh, I didn't let him in the house. I remembered what you told me, and I went out, carefully shut the door, and looked at his things on the steps. Oh, here we go. Besides, he wasn't an Italian. He was a German Jew. He had a big box full of very interesting things, and he told me he was working hard to make enough money to bring his wife and children out from Germany. He spoke so freely about them that it touched my heart. I wanted to buy something from him to help him in such a worthy object, which is probably actually freaking true. We're on the cusp of World War I at this point, right? Then I wanted to buy something to help him in such a worthy object. Then all at once I saw the bottle of hair dye. The peddler said it was warranted to dye any hair a beautiful raven black and wouldn't wash off. In a trice, I saw myself with beautiful raven black hair, and the temptation was irresistible. But the price of the bottle was 75 cents, and I only had 50 cents left out of my chicken money. I think the peddler had a very kind heart, for he said that seeing it was me, he'd sell it for 50 cents, and that was just giving it away. So I bought it, And as soon as he had gone, I came up here and applied it with an old hairbrush, as the directions said. I used up the whole bottle, and oh, Marilla! When I saw the dreadful color it turned my hair, I repented for being wicked. I can tell you, I've been repenting ever since. Well, I hope you'll repent to good purpose, said Marilla severely, and that you've got your eyes opened to where your vanity has led you. Anne. Sorry. I have so much drainage that, like, it's like sloshing and popping in my ears. I apologize for my concentration. When I saw the dreadful... Okay, well, I hope you'll repent on good purpose, said Marilla severely, and that you've got your eyes open to where your vanity leads you, Anne. Goodness knows what's to be done. I suppose the first thing is to give your hair a good washing to see if that will do any good. Accordingly, Anne washed her hair, scrubbing it vigorously with soap and water, but for all the difference it made, she might as well have been scouring its original red. The peddler had certainly spoken with truth when he declared that the dye wouldn't wash off. However, his veracity might be impeached in other respects. Oh, Marilla, what shall I do? Questioned Anne in tears. I can never live this down. People have pretty well forgotten my other mistakes, the liniment cake, and setting Diana drunk, and flying into a temper with Mrs. Lynde. But they'll never forget this. They will think I'm not respectable. Oh, Marilla, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. That is poetry, but it is true. And oh, how Josie Pye will laugh, Marilla. I cannot face Josie Pye. I am the unhappiest girl in Prince Edward Island. Anne's unhappiness continued for a week. During that time she went nowhere and shampooed her hair every day. Diana alone of outsiders knew the fatal secret, but she promised solemnly never to tell, and it may be stated here and now that she kept her word. At the end of the week, Marilla said decidedly, "It's no use, Anne. This is fast dye if there ever was any. Your hair must be cut off. There is no other way. You can't go out with it looking like that." Anne's lips quivered, but she realized the bitter truth of Marilla's remarks. With a dismal sigh, she went for the scissors. "Please cut it off at once, Marilla, and have it over. Oh, I feel that my heart is broken. This is such an unromantic affliction. The girls in books lose their hair in fevers or sell it to get money for some good deed, and I'm sure I wouldn't mind losing my hair in some fashion half so much. But there is nothing comforting in having your hair cut off because you've dyed it a dreadful color, is there? I'm going to weep all the time you're cutting it off, if it won't interfere. It seems such a tragic thing." Anne wept then, but later on, when she went upstairs and looked in the glass, she was calm with despair. Marilla had done her work thoroughly, and it had been necessary to shingle the hair as closely as possible. The result was not becoming, to state the case as mildly as may be. Anne promptly turned her glass to the wall. "I'll never, never look at myself again until my hair grows," she exclaimed passionately. Then she suddenly righted the glass. "Yes, I will, too. I'll do penance for being wicked that way. I'll look at myself every time I come to my room and see how ugly I am, and I won't try to imagine it away either. I never thought I was vain about my hair, of all things, but now I know I was, in spite of its being red, because it was so long and thick and curly. I expect something will happen to my nose next." Anne's clipped head made a sensation in school on the following Monday, but to her relief nobody guessed the real reason for it, not even Josie Pye, who, however, did not fail to inform Anne that she looked like a perfect scarecrow. "I didn't say anything when Josie said that to me," Anne confided to Marilla that evening, who was lying on the sofa after one of her headaches, "because I thought it was part of my punishment, and I ought to bear it patiently. It's hard to be told you look like a scarecrow, and I wanted to say something back, but I didn't. I just swept her one scornful look, and then I forgave her. It makes you feel very virtuous when you forgive people, doesn't it? I mean to devote all my energies to being good after this, and I shall never try to be beautiful again. Of course, it's better to be good. I know it is, but it's sometimes so hard to believe a thing when you know it. I do really want to be good, Marilla, like you and Mrs. Allen and Miss Stacy, and grow up to be a credit to you. Diana says when my hair begins to grow, to tie a black velvet ribbon around my head with a bow at one side. She says she thinks it'll be very becoming. I will call it a snood. That sounds so romantic. But am I talking too much, Marilla? Does it hurt your head? My head is better now. It was terrible bad this afternoon, though. These headaches of mine are getting worse and worse. I'll have to see a doctor about them. As far as for your chatter, I don't know that I mind it. I've got so used to it, which was Marilla's way of saying that she liked to hear it. Oh my gosh, what do you think? Do you guys have any hair dye stories? You know I do. When I was 16 or so, I tried to dye my hair black, and the reason was so silly. My friends and I were going to a Rocky Horror Picture Show thing on campus where it was like a, you do all the things. You throw the toast and all of the things. Anyway, we all dressed up as different characters, and I didn't really choose. They all kind of decided that I was going to be Magenta. One of the characters' names is Magenta, and so I looked at her, and she had black hair, and I thought, well, maybe I'll just dye my hair black. And I did. I had super long hair, down to my waist, and it didn't take all the way. It was leopardy spotted. I don't know how to describe it. Anyway, my mother freaked out so bad. She cried. She was so angry with me. I don't understand why they didn't try and find more dye somewhere. They couldn't have. It was a week. Anne was at home. Andrew's laughing at me. It was a week. She spent a week at home. In that time, they couldn't have made a special trip to Carmody to the general store, try and find some walnut dye or something, and just go for it. Yes, she dyed her hair. She's a rebel without a cause. What can we say?